Need I say more?
Anyone who's ever been to prison knows that the first day inside is the most dangerous. If you're not careful, you're bound to get bullied by other inmates. That's exactly what happened to Paddington Brown. His first job in prison was doing laundry, but when he pressed a button, he was immediately buried under a pile of clothes. Of course, for a hardworking little bear like him, that was nothing. After sorting everything, he tossed his own clothes into the washer. What he didn't notice, though, was that a red sock was still stuck to his hat. By the time he realized, it was already too late. Everyone's clothes had turned bright pink. The first rule of survival in prison is to avoid making enemies. But somehow, Paddington managed to upset every single inmate in just one day. He started to panic. While he was worrying about what would happen to him, he noticed something off about the porridge in front of him. It tasted off, and worse, it had hair in it. When he asked about it, one of the inmates told him they'd been eating this exact food for 10 years. Paddington couldn't understand why no one had ever complained. That's when the entire room suddenly went silent. It wasn't that they didn't want to say something, it was that they were too scared. The prison chef had a nasty reputation. Speaking up meant risking your life. So the other inmates came up with an idea. If Paddington had the guts to confront the chef, they'd forget all about the pink laundry incident. Bravely, Paddington went up to the kitchen and pointed out all the problems with the food. As he spoke, the chef's face grew darker and darker. And then, to make things worse, Paddington accidentally splattered ketchup all over his uniform. That was the last straw. The chef grabbed Paddington and lifted him into the air. But just as things were about to get ugly, Paddington quickly shoved a marmalade sandwich into his mouth. The chef froze. He had never tasted anything so delicious. He immediately called out to all the inmates hiding under the tables and announced that from now on, he'd personally protect this little bear. But there was one condition. Paddington had to teach him how to make marmalade.